integrated farming system will enhance the farm production. Before going into that, if you see the global agriculture production today, the global production has increased from 2 billion tonnes in 1961 to more than 9 billion tonnes in 2018. In the simultaneous period, the meat production has also increased, more than tripled, to the extent of 340 metric tonnes, with a seafood production of 155 metric tonnes. This has improved the livelihood of many of the farmers or population out of poverty and provided a platform for rapid economic growth in parts of the world. Though this massive modern agriculture has improved the production and facilitated the economic growth, but it has some negative aspects as well. Not agriculture, we have lost biodiversity to the extent that 80% of global deforestation is by agriculture because of extension. This also, and besides this, there is a huge water abstraction from the ground, so that the water availability is reduced because of inordinate or excessive use of agrochemicals, mainly fertilizers and pesticides, has degraded the ecosystem and also threatens the food security and sustainability of our planet. Because the agroecosystem, the complex agroecosystem is simplified into a simple ecosystem. This has put the agriculture into a vulnerable sector to climate change events. These things I will discuss it later. This is a background how the agriculture has increased, or modern agriculture has improved the food production over the years. In the meantime, how it has also affected the ecosystem. And then if we see the challenges for food production, challenges of agriculture, global agriculture, we have to increase the food production or agriculture production to meet the forecasted population of 9 to 10 billion people in 2050. Besides food crops, other agriculture produce has also to be produced. This includes sugar crops or meat or animal products, seafood products, everything. Such a growth has to come from sub-Saharan Africa and South Asia. The agriculture has to be more than doubled by 250 to meet the increased demand, because these areas are going to see the population growth. Besides the direct impact, direct requirement from the agriculture, the growing population also needs the land for other infrastructural development and urban growth. This really, it will be the agriculture will be the agriculture land will be the target, because for this infrastructural development or real estate, already we have lost several acres of land for these projects. And then second one is the impact of modern agriculture. This is because we have seen the loss of biodiversity. Here I am going to discuss in detail. Here the diversity is because of cropland expansion, that is deforestation and conversion of the complex ecosystem into the simplified ecosystem, and even the large acres of area is converted into agricultural land even today in Brazil and other areas. And then the other impact is because of intensification. For example, because of development of modern high yielding varieties, we have lost many of land races or diversity in crops, as well as the varietal diversity as well. Because of this diverse uniformity, we can say monocropping, or even in some places a single variety is cultivated in a tract. So this making the agriculture vulnerable to climatic events as well as pest and diseases and also market fluctuations. Second one is this also affected. Similar such effect is also observed in animal genetic resources. And then another and also this also affected the sea or coastal or aquaculture, freshwater aquaculture biodiversity. And besides, the increased or excessive use of agrochemicals affected the soil ecosystem, affecting many of the beneficial insects, microorganisms as well. And then second one is the environmental impact. Environmental impact in the sense how the modern agriculture has affected the land, water, or air. This because, as I said, because of excessive use of pesticides, there is a contamination in many of the places. We have studied algal bloom because of leaching from nitrogen or phosphatic fertilizers to the lakes and rivers, and then air quality. Every year during winter, there is a large hue and cry over the air quality in Gangetic Plains because of stubble burning in those regions. And then another one is expansion of coastal aquaculture, mainly growing a single variety of fishes like prawn culture or other things. They have also affected the coastal aquaculture ecosystem because causing habitat destruction and sediment accumulation. And then it is also found that agriculture is responsible for more than 29% of global gas emissions from agriculture. And then another is a social impact. How the green revolution is concentrated only in a resource-rich areas where the resources are endowed with available land fertility. Observed such these benefits are more seen in the Gangetic Plains or Punjab, Haryana, and coastal some of the coastal deltaic regions. And then the farm mechanization has resulted in displacement of agricultural labor. And this from this positive impact of agriculture, the smallholders or resource poor farmers who are located in dry and rain-fed areas are untouched. Besides this, the agriculture also has to face the problem of climate change. Climate change, already we have seen the tropical region is very much affected. Now I am going to tell some of the points on how the tropical coastal climate will be affected by climate change events. Because of extreme events like flooding or a cyclone and other events, there will be a flooding. And this will cause the infrastructure as well as agriculture and other activities. And then there is a sea level rise, storm surges and droughts. And then because of sea level rise, the groundwater quality, seawater intrusion will be there and the coastal region affecting the water quality as well. So to meet the growing demand of food product, other agriculture production of 9 billion population, and with the constraints of already ecosystem affected by the modern agriculture, which is adaptable to the climate change events, we have to develop a technology which is able to meet the food grain production, which is sustainable and achieve the food and nutritional security, as well as reduce the greenhouse gas emission, also have the capability of having climate change adaptation. So such a technology is integrated farming system is one of the such technology. Here again, the emphasis on smallholder farmers. It is seen that the smallholder farms, 33% of the humanity is supported by the small production from the smallholder farms. So most of these technologies should be targeted to these smallholder farms. So IFS has the scope, or it is a only system which can support the smallholder farms meeting all the goals of climate smart agriculture, are also achieving the sustainable development goals of United Nations. So now we'll see what is integrated farming system. It is nothing but a system approach. Instead of targeting a single activity, we are considering the farm as including the farm household as a system, that compatibility and the synergy between the enterprises are exploited to achieve a maximum production from per unit area, per unit time. Here, the resource flow, the energy flow between the components is important, and also the resource flow and other nutrient flow should be ensured. So I said there are several enterprises which are complementary and synergetic, and account the components of soil, water, crops, and have a max with the farm family at the center. And so we are managing these the technologies of each enterprises in a systematic way and in a synergetic way to achieve maximum production. Here, why we have to go for integration? Because we have to increase the production per unit time, per unit per unit area as well. So maximum production and the productivity of the limited land resources has to be optimally utilized. Second one is waste recycling, so that there is because of which there is a resource substitution, because we can substitute with synthetic fertilizers, or we can reduce the outside purchase, so that overall production or productivity will be increased. And then by a judicious mix of several enterprises which are suitable to the specific to the agroclimatic condition, the optimum productivity of that particular land is achieved. And then if we see the advantages of integrated farming system, these things are already known. It is higher production, increased farm income, and gives, because of diversity and crop residue recycling, it sustains the soil fertility and productivity. There is enhanced food and nutritional security to the farmers because of on-farm production and availability. And then there is a reduced risk because we have a diversified activities, so that we can buffer. It will give buffer to the market fluctuations as well as crop failures. And then it also helps in climate change adaptation and mitigation. It is one of the mitigation strategy, and also can be used for carbon credits, are claiming carbon credits. Another best thing is biodiversity conservation. Otherwise, in simple words, it meets the three basic elements of climate smart agriculture. One is productivity, that is increasing the production, and then improving the sustainability, and then ensuring the food security, and then adaptation because of diversified activities, and by naturally having the managing integrating climate smart practices into a farming system approach, we can go for adaptation practices as well. And then meanwhile, it also mitigates the negative effects of greenhouse gas emission, which I will show it in later slides as a case study from our institute. And then next we'll see what will be the components of an integrated farming system. The agriculture enterprises, mainly the crops, livestock, poultry, apiary, or any activity which are specific to the environment or ecosystem can be a component of an IFS. The cropping system may be a monocrop or mixed crop or multi-tier crop, and or oilseeds, anything that the crops which are adaptable to that particular ecosystem can be included into our IFS model. Then livestock components, these are the major livestock which are found in our India, so they can be a component of our system. Then agroforestry is very important to meet the fodder demand of our animals, and also it can be used for maintaining the soil fertility by way of supplying green manure application. And then it also plays a significant role in greenhouse, that is carbon sequestration. Another activity is a value addition or processing. Then, while planning an integrated farming system, these are all the factors we have to consider. One is a physiographic location, that is hilly, lowlands, or coastal areas. That is, physiographic location plays a significant or a basic role in selecting your components. For example, the components which are suitable for a coastal islands or coastal plains or valley plains are different from that of hills or upland areas. And then second one is it also affects the soil type also affects your component selection. Another one is a climate. Climate, the rainfall, temperature are playing a significant role because we cannot grow a temperate crop in a tropical condition or the animals which are grown in tropical temperate region in a tropical region. Okay, so we have to consider the physiographic location of your area and the soil types. The soil, black soil may be suitable for cotton or oil seeds like that, and while alluvial soils are well suited for rice cropping. So climate, it's the temperature and the annual rainfall and distribution plays a significant role again. And then what is our goal? Whether our goal, it depends on the extent of our investment. Like if we want to sustain the family nutrition itself, so the level of investment may be less. So depending upon our goal, the level of the components can be modified. So if we want more income, so we can go for a high value crops or so normally the high value crops may be a risky one. So like that we have to select. And then social factors. Social factors, again, it plays an important role in selecting the animal components. For example, in Nicobar region or northeastern states, pig will be one of your component, but not in other places. So the factors like physiographic position, soil type, climate, and our goal in farming and social factors play a significant role in selection of your components. Then before going in, seeing the different farming systems in India and our island, let us see what are the farming systems which are prevalent in coastal areas of tropical coastal areas. This is taken from FAO. The major farming system is rice. That is tropical coastal areas. Rice is a major farming system. Here the farming system character, the wetland rice, mainly wetland rice are irrigated. It is normally irrigated. It is followed in Bangladesh, Myanmar, Tamil Nadu, and Kerala in India, also in some parts of Sri Lanka. Besides rice, they are having some cattle and small ruminants like goats. What is if we see the constraints, water scarcity is a major problem. Besides flooding or waterlogging during a wet season is another factor affecting the production. And also there is a limited water production and declining soil fertility because of imbalance and excessive use of fertilizers in over a period. So these are the constraints. So some of the integrated farming systems were evaluated for this region, and it is found that the rice, azolla, and fish rice pulses are found to be higher suitable IFS models for coastal rice growing areas of Southeast Asia. Another one is coastal artisanal fishing. This is only not a mechanized boating, or it is only small scale artisanal fishing. Such a type of farming system is found in Bangladesh, India, and around Maldives. Here, only inshore fishing is supplemented by rice and coconut. And here, there are several. Here, the problems are again the storms, cyclones, waterlogging, and salinity, and seawater intrusion or sea level rise. Already we have discussed in our problems. So the farming systems which are suitable for this region is rice, fish, again rice, freshwater aquaculture along with coconut, and aquaculture with composite carp culture, and poultry, fish or duck fish farming. Another one is urban based farming. Urban-based farming system is prevalent in most of the urban cities, in and around the urban cities, where the cropping intensity is more and the crops or livestock which are grown is different from the interior areas, because here all the agriculture activities are aimed at market provided or market available in our city. So some of the IFS system were evaluated like dairy, piggery with vegetable and fodder. So vermiculture. Vermiculture is mainly used for your recycling of the waste, so that your synthetic fertilizers can be reduced. So far we have seen what is status of agriculture, how the modern agriculture has impacted the ecosystem, and what is the challenges before us to meet the growing demand of population of around 9 to 10 billion in 2050 within the limited resources, and having a background of deteriorated environment caused by our modern practices, and there is an external force to your thing by in the form of climate change. So now we can go for the farming system models which are developed in India in different physiographic or different regions or agro-eco regions. First, we will see from Jammu. This is for Jammu Kashmir. It is for valley region where this area is prone to flood. And second one, there is an extreme event of frost and cold stress, and water scarcity is also a problem. And because of limited water availability or rainfall, only generally monocropping is practiced under rainfed condition, and rice and wheat is grown as an irrigated crop. So the program under integrated ICAR-CIARI, they have developed a model by incorporating livestock, fish cum poultry, and they are able to achieve a production of 24 tons per year with a net income of 3 lakhs per year. 3 lakhs and with the employment generation of 595 man days. Another distinct example is Kerala. Here the land availability is very less. It is small, 0.2 hectares. The average land availability in Kerala is very small. So they have developed a model for 0.2 hectares, and the cropping system is coconut. And this between the coconut in the trenches, the fish aquaculture, freshwater aquaculture is followed, and in the boundaries they have gone for teak. So and also integration of cow, the production has increased to 11 tons and with a net income of 0.57 lakhs per year. This is for an area of 0.2 hectares. Another example is northeastern hills. Here the distinct features are pig. As I said, social factors also affect the component integration. So in northeastern states, as pig is the predominant livestock, so they have integrated pig with the other components, and a pig poultry cum fishery system. By this system, they can able to produce 32 tons per year with a net income of 1.65 lakh, and with the employment generation of 591 man days from an area of 1 hectare. Now we'll go for Gangetic Plains or Punjab, Haryana, where we have an intensive agriculture system, and rice, wheat is a major crop, and dairy is a predominant animal. So here they have modified the crops by inclusion of maize in Kharif season, and followed by wheat, and also they have gone for some horticulture crops like guava and intercropping with vegetables for market availability, and livestock and fish cum poultry and mushroom. Mushroom actually it is a temperate, so the mushroom is adapted well. So under this system, they can able to produce an physical production of 50 tons with a net income of 4 lakhs per year and sustainability index of 0.74, and it has this system is able to produce around 616 man days. So another drastic example is the Rajasthan, where we have an arid zone, where we have a semi-arid climate The temperature is very hot during dry months and very cold during winter months, and only rain-fed cultivation is followed. Our millets and pulses is a major cropping system, and by inclusion of arid horticulture crops like pear, lime, and custard apple and goat, they can able to produce increase the production up to 47 tonnes per year with a net income of 3.93 lakhs per year. So far, we have seen so many examples from India. Now we'll go into Andaman Nicobar Islands. Before going to that, just we'll see how the islands are different from mainland India. Here, they are located in Bay of Bengal, away from Calcutta or Chennai at 1,200 kilometers. And here the land is the most critical natural resource, because out of the total geographical area of 8,400 square kilometer, only 4.8% geographical area is used for agriculture. Here, here in recent times or after tsunami, the area is reduced for agriculture. The use of area is reduced because of other agriculture activities like real estate and mining. And then within the Andaman Nicobar group, the Nicobar Islands are very distinct from Andaman because these islands are scattered, remote, and isolated from the Andaman city or as well as mainland. So any model should be based keeping in mind that all the resources are available, or they should be sustainable within this system. And then if we see the farming systems of existing farming systems of Andaman Nicobar Islands, as I said, the Nicobar region, the farming system is different from Andaman Islands. If you see the size of holding, the 58% of farmers are small farmers. Here the coconut is a predominant crop with a pig as a animal. And then the income contribution comes from coconut, then pig. So, the predominant cropping system is coconut based. Again, in Andaman Islands, there is distinct differences between north, middle, and south, because south is a urban area. Here, the farm animals are cattle and poultry. The poultry play a very predominant role in South Andaman, besides rice and vegetable cultivation. Now we'll see the different farming system models which are developed in our institute for different areas or regions of island. First one is for a coastal valley. We have developed a model that is rice and dairy based model for coastal plains. Another one is coconut or pig or coconut dairy with in medium uplands or hilly uplands. For Nicobar region, as I said earlier, we have a homestead farming system model for Nicobar region, which can able to meet the food and nutritional security of the tribal farmers. Now we'll see what is the characteristics of valley areas and coastal plains. Here the valley plains are here the valleys mountains are the valleys are found between the two mountains or two hills, and also the coastal areas. Here the agriculture production is characterized by rice during the wet season, and vegetables or pulses are grown during the dry period. Here the rice cultivation, the productivity is less because during rainy season we have a problem of waterlogging and flooding. In recent times there is an extreme events like flooding or cyclones causing a flooding area, affecting even the rice cultivation as well. And then during dry months the water availability is very much limited. So our cultivation, vegetable or dry season crop cultivation is also affected without any reliable water sources. Because of climate change, we have a seawater intrusion. This has also affected in groundwater quality of the coastal areas. Here the soils are acidic or acid saline and acid sulfate soils. And after tsunami, there are some areas are submerged or some areas are emerged from the land. So in recent times, because of climate change, we have an unpredictable or unseasonal rainfall, late onset of monsoon or early onset of monsoon. So many problems are there. So these things have to be considered while formulating a farming system model. So the twin problems of waterlogging and water scarcity during the dry period was solved by land manipulation, in the sense that part of the land, that is, we have developed a model for 0.75 hectares, in which 0.35 hectares was used for raising race-based cropping systems to meet the dietary demand of the farm family of 5 members, and remaining area in 0.3 hectare, the land was modified into a broad bed or a raised bed and furrow system, so that the problem of waterlogging will be avoided, and the water collected during the rainwater will be utilized for growing vegetables during dry months, so that the cropping intensity is raised and our productivity will be enhanced. And then this crop component was integrated with the dairy component of 2 cows, and the fodder demand will met from the fodder which are grown on the raised beds. One raised bed was allotted for raised fodder production. Besides the residue for rice straw, and also residues from our sorghum was included in the cropping system to meet the fodder demand of the animal. So if we see the production was 1.8 tons from an area of 0.75 hectare at the start of our experiment. This slowly increased 25.2 tons in terms of price equivalent yield. Here we can see different steps in the 2012 and 13. In 2011 and 12, the production comes only from rice. And second year, we have converted the rice, we have integrated or we have introduced diversification by involving rice, maize or vegetables, green gram into the cropping system. The productivity is increased to around 5 tons. Then again in the third year, the productivity is doubled because of land manipulation or land configuration. So the vegetables were grown throughout the year. At most 3 different 3 cropping rotations were followed in the beds, so that the productivity is increased. Again, the another jump is in 2014-15. Here, this is because of introduction of dairy component. Here, the dairy component, here in Andaman Islands, the cost of the milk is very much high. The productivity is so high. So after establishing all the components, and then the integration is achieved by resource flow and energy flow and the waste recycling, we can see the stability in the system from 14 to 15 or 16, 17. So at final, we can increase our net income to 2.3 lakh per year. So this system is able to produce a net income of around 1.87 lakhs in 17-18. From the initial net income of around 18,000 before intervention, the productivity is increased from 2 tons to 27 or 28 tons over the years. And then this we can see in terms of climate smart agriculture. The first, the basic pillar or basic pillar is the increasing production or increasing sustainable production. So the integrated farming system able to increase the physical production is sustained over the years, as well as the and then another thing is objective or is of climate smart agriculture is achieving food and nutritional security to the farm family. Before our intervention, our existing farming system, there is a deficit of cereal, pulses, vegetables in almost all the dietary items when compared to ICAR requirements. But after our intervention or after the IFS system can able to produce in excess of some of the some of the items after meeting the family demand. So the food and nutritional security of the farm family can be achieved uh, by on-farm production, because several studies indicate that the farmers or people are not taking up nutritional food because they are not available on farm. Here we are ensuring the security by on-farm production, and there is a surplus production of vegetable and milk which can be used for which can be used for other livelihood activities. And then another thing is that IFS system able to support increased agriculture diversity. This we can see from this chart, because at the initial phase we have a diversity of 0 because there is a rice monocropping. Then over a period it has increased up to 0.82. This is because of our diversification of crops, not only crops, even the varieties, and then the other enterprises were integrated into the system so that the diversity is enhanced. This diversity ensures the diversified food items to the farm family and also reduces the risk or provides a buffer to many of the risks faced by the farmer. This shows how the crop diversity is related to our rice production. With increasing diversity, we can say that the productivity is also increases from the farm. And then another objective is climate change mitigation, that is greenhouse gas reduction in greenhouse gas emission. So the by integrated farming system model, we can the net emission was around 1.2 megagrams of carbon equivalent in a year from the lowland IFS model. This is here the major components are livestock and flooded rice, because livestock is a ruminant. So the ruminant contributes majorly to the greenhouse gas emission. Another one is a flooded rice. So these two are the major contributors to the greenhouse gas emission. With the introduction of agroforestry component or and then recycling of resources, we have created the carbon sink, so the net balance is improved over the year. This diagram shows how the system is able to achieve a net carbon balance over the years. When the first in 2011 and 12, when the only rice was there, there is a net emission because of flooded rice. And then over the period, the emission was reduced over the years, and finally we can able to achieve positive, able to achieve balance net emission. The net emission is reduced, and so that the system has become carbon neutral. Instead of seeing the greenhouse gas emission, we can see the emission intensity. That is how much greenhouse gas emission is produced per production of per unit of food produced. So the emission intensity has decreased by several times. That is 1.2 megagram in the initial time to 0.2. So this is the greatest achievement for integrated farming system. And then, as I said, it has an inbuilt capacity to integrate or to follow the several other climate smart practices like diversification, either in the form of crops, enterprises, and then crop rotation, green manuring, in situ water harvesting, and then we can go for mulching, and then waste recycling and boundary plantations. We have calculated how these practices have contributed to our net income. It was found that the crop diversification and green manuring and rainwater harvesting are contributed much to the resilience of the system. And then another one is a climate change adaptation. This adaptive capacity is provided by our Agromet bulletin, and it was this agro advisory is provided to the farmers every 2 days in a week. so that they can plan the activities in advance. So we can see nowadays agriculture as an what is that, a business module, or we can say it is a business module where we should have employment generation, and also there should be a resource continuous income flow. So the IFS system also able to produce an employment, able to generate an employment of around more than 360 man days in a year. And then again, it ensures the flow of money flow every month, so that it meets the demand of the farmers, as well as it meets the family demand or individual requirements. Second one is social requirement, and then as well as even the global needs are fulfilled by an integrated farming system. So another model is coconut plus pig-based system for uplands of Andaman Island. Here we have because the coconut is one of the predominant crop found in slopey areas, where we can integrate this coconut with spices, and tapioca crops were included to meet the food requirement of the piggery component. And at the end of the slope, we have a rainwater harvesting structure where we have the pond over which we have a poultry cum fish system. So from this system, we can able to get around 2 lakh rupees with the employment generation of around 200 man days from an area of 1 hectare. So again, it is a greenhouse gas emission and carbon sequestration. Here, because it is a perennial crop, and also the arable crops are followed, and from piggery not much greenhouse gas emission. So it is net carbon, or we can say a carbon positive system. That is where we have a more carbon sequestration or carbon sink than the carbon emission sources. Now we'll go for a farming system model which are developed for tribes. In Andaman Islands, we have 6 tribes like Jarawas, Onjis, Andamanis, Sentinalis, and Sompans. Only Nicobaris and Onjis are developed, and they are in the mainstream. So we have a farming system model for Nicobaris in Car-Nicobar and other regions. We said the Nicobar Islands have certain limitations because of remoteness and isolation. Here, the remoteness in the sense they are remote, we can say they are the remotest from mainland as well as Andaman Island. And then in isolation, each island is individual, or each island is isolated, and the transportation or other connective facilities are very limited in this island. And then they have a limited land resources, and we cannot, the market availability for perishable products are very limited, or we cannot go for large scale farming in these areas. And also there is a lack of scientific cultivation and livestock management. When I visited this place, they have told they cannot go for crops because there is a destruction by the pig because of free ranging ability, because these are allowed as a free ranging animals. And then majority of the food supplies, especially rice, pulses, are coming from the other areas through PDS, because these areas are not suitable for rice cultivation or pulses cultivation. And one way the coconut is a major, coconut and areca nut is a predominant crops found in this island. Moreover, they have a tohet system, and we have developed a model for a small family in an area of 400 square meter, where we introduced vegetable cultivation in their backyard. Besides vegetables, they have fruits like banana, pineapple, and papaya, and pandanas. They are already found in their home garden. So in that area, we have introduced a vegetable cultivation with a little modification, and also backyard poultry and a goat. As they are having a piggery, we have given as requested by the tribes, we have introduced goat as well. And then to meet the nutrient demand and to ensure the nutrient supply, we also have a vermicomposting unit so that the system will be self-sustainable. Then we have, besides that, we have conducted some capacity building programs and also provided some farm tools and implements. This is a glimpses of our introduction, where we have a home garden and also the poultry, backyard poultry and piggery and goattery system. And the farmers were asked. We have had 35 interventions in farmers field in Nicobar and also in Hat Bay. So we have given asked the farmers to write their production or what they are getting from their field. And also another limiting factor in Nicobar region is the rainwater. So rainwater is the only source. There is no permanent or perennial source. So we have also introduced rainwater harvesting by giving a lined pond, so that it can be used for domestic as well as this one for feeding the animals as well as irrigating the crops during dry season. So with this system, we have the farmers are able to produce many vegetables, greens, tubers, banana and egg. And we have assessed how this production has changed the dietary pattern, how it has helpful or affected the food and nutritional security. That there is a distinct difference in dietary pattern, because earlier the pandanus and tuber crops are the major eatables there, and the consumption of tubers and this has reduced with the increased consumption of vegetable, greens and fruits. This was achieved because of their on-farm production, because the vegetables and fruits are not available there, they cannot be produced, and because of their perishable nature, the market availability is also reduced. Then if we calculate economic terms, it is from such a system, there is a net income of around 20,000 rupees with a BC ratio of 2.84 and employment generation of around 40 to 50 days. Then these farming system models were upscaled by several states, and also even the government of India is promoting farming system models, and the ICAR-CIARI has compiled all the systems and published the farming system models which were evaluated all over the India, and it has been submitted to DAC for further dissemination. And then bankable IFS models were prepared and submitted to NABARD for financial assistance to the farmers as well. So we have that lowland IFS. We have assessed how the model can be go into a bankable mode. So with differential rate of interest and are keeping and variable, we have calculated 4 different rescheduling of options, and we found that the option 4, which has capital cost of 80% with a recurring cost of 50% available every year, will give a very good option to the farmers if they are going for any term loan or other bankable or financial intervention. So to conclude that, IFS is a way to meet the challenges of increasing demand for agriculture production. It is climate smart by ensuring the sustained food production, ensuring food and nutritional security of the farm family, and also reduce the greenhouse gas emission. It has many inbuilt practices which can be incorporated into the system so that it have adaptive capacity. Besides that, it has economic, we can say it is business model because of the increased employment and regular flow of income throughout the year, and it can alleviate the poverty and ensure the food and nutritional security, and thereby meeting many of the sustainable development goals. And also it can able to achieve the Government of India's target of doubling the farmers' income. With this, I thank all the delegates for their patient listening. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.